Time to look at markets now. Asian shares edged up in early trade after an upbeat session on Wall Street, while investors turned their attention to U.S. inflation data and the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision this week. Investors will closely monitor U.S. consumer price index that is due in the next hour and producer price index data for a reading of how well the Fed's tightening cycle has managed to curb inflation. Meanwhile, oil prices ticked up, recovering some ground from the previous day's plunge, but gains were limited as investors remained cautious ahead of key policy decisions by central banks and on weak economic data from China. To give us some perspective on the markets, we are joined by Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers. Makwe, thank you so much for your time. Let's start off with looking at market sentiment ahead of the CPI data.
Market sentiments managed to improve, ahead of the CPI data, and we know tomorrow is the interest rate decision. But all because we've seen that earlier there were some rumors that apparently China is considering a broad base of stimulus package, as we've seen that the economy has not been doing that great lately. And also we've seen this morning China, they've managed to lower their interest rates when it comes to their short-term interest rates, and that itself managed to boost market sentiments, and we've seen confidence. So it's more of a risk-on kind of a thing after we've seen that announcement when it comes to their short-term interest rates, which were lowered.
Let's talk about Telecom's results. I mean, we knew we got a picture in terms of the trading update, but now that the results are out, what did you make of what the company had published?
I think maybe that is why the share price reacted the way it did. It's up almost 2% because all that bad news was factored into the asset price. And as you said, into their trading statement, we knew that the guys are struggling when it comes to legacy technology, and hence we've seen some pronounced declines when it comes to that revenue coming from the legacy. And load shedding, we didn't expect that is affecting them and costing them almost 655 million so far this year, and that also includes backup. But yes, the guys continued to postpone the resumption of dividends payments, and their revenue was just up marginally, 0.9%, but their profit and headline earnings per share were down a whopping 76%, and all because we know that competition has intensified, whether it's mobile, whether it's fiber or IT, and maybe that also explains why they're seriously looking for a partner when it comes to BCX.
So let's talk about the bid. I mean, yesterday the company came out confirming that they have been approached by the consortium led by former Telecom CEO Sipho Maseko. In terms of more details that I suppose from your side as an analyst and an investor, what more would I suppose tick the box in you thinking would be a great fit? Is it Axion or MTN? What kind of details would you require from Telecom?
I think locally is more of an MTN more than anything, and because MTN also needs them, because when it comes to their network, the fiber network, Telecom happens to have just over 160,000 kilometers coverage, and Telecom also needs MTN because they need the backup of a big brother because their balance sheet is not looking that great. But exploring into Africa, knowing that Telecom doesn't have a presence when it comes to Africa, then probably the guys might be a good fit. The problem is we don't know the way forward, what is their strategy if they have to start exploring more into Africa itself.
Makwe, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.